PBR Pendleton Whiskey Velocity Tour is returning to Pinnacle Bank Arena in Lincoln this weekend, featuring some of the top bull riders and bulls in the world. One animal athlete that will be featured this weekend is the Bounty Bull, Mr. Koolie, owned by none other than Nebraska native Larry the Cable Guy himself. Larry, thanks for joining us this morning.
Absolutely. Good to be on with you. And that just sounds like a good bull, don't it, Mr. Koolie?
Yeah, it does. So before we get too far into things, lots of people have hobbies: hunting, fishing, golf. Why bulls? What got you into owning bucking bulls?
Well, I've been a fan of rodeo ever since I was a kid. I did Little Britches rodeo when I was a little kid, and it was just a lot of fun. The difference between me and the rodeo guys now is, and why I didn't continue it, is I'm not as tough as they are. I went more the comedy route. It was a lot safer and better on my body, but I just love it. And when the professional bull riders started, there was a buddy of mine in Florida named Tater Porter, who was a really good friend of mine and just a super nice guy. And he was riding bulls and just got in the PBR. So I asked him one time if he had a sponsor, and he didn't have a sponsor. So I said, "Man, I'm going to sponsor you." So I started sponsoring Tater Porter, and he rode with Get Her Done patches on, Larry the Cable Guy stuff, and man, it was just fun to go to the events and the World Finals in Vegas and watch my bull rider and my buddy Tater. And then I started getting interested in the bull side of it. So I partnered up with Jeff Robinson out of North Carolina, and I paid in and bought into some bulls that he had. Fortunately for me and Jeff, one of those bulls was named Chicken on a Chain, who and I did it specifically because I was living in Florida at the time, in Sanford, Florida, in the swamp out there off Lake Jessup, the most alligator infested lake in the state. And it was a one-way dirt road. And at the end of the one-way dirt road was a neighbor, and had his trailer up on blocks there, and super nice guy. But most people have guard dogs. He had guard roosters, and he had them on chains. He had two of them running around his yard on a chain. And so when I saw that Jeff had a bull chicken on a chain, I said, "Man, I got to buy into that bull. That's awesome." And so fortunately, he won Bull of the Year. He's one of the best bucking bulls they ever had in the PBR. And then gradually, as I was just getting busier and busier and busier and busier, I got into golf, and then I started sponsoring a golfer named Brandon Crick, who's from McCook, and he's a really good. He's in the Corn Ferry, and he's almost just every now and then he comes so close to getting in the PGA. But anyway, uh, then my boy started wanting to bull ride. He's 17 years old, and he's been around it since he was little. He used to go to those events, and he started bull riding and working at it. You got to start slow. So uh, I went down and took him down to Cody Lambert's place down in Bowie, Texas. And I just, you know what? I just started falling in love with it again, and all those memories of how I was going to those events and having bulls. And I came home and I said, "Well, if you're going to start trying to bull ride, I'm going to help you out, and we're going to go all in." And so we got a really nice bucking facility out here, and then I partnered with a buddy of mine named AJ Moz, who has about 30 head of good bucking stock, and so I bought into those, and we bought Mr. Koolie, and Mr. Koolie is right now he's 47-2, and I'm really proud of him. I think he can be the next really good PBR champion. We'll see. We're bringing him out. We're bringing him out Saturday night as the Bounty Bull, so everybody can see him. We're giving him a lot of press, and I think that we had him out last night. Let him out his pen yesterday just to kind of run around the arena, and a buddy of mine thought he could be funny with him, and in about 2 seconds he went flying over the fence. So he's nice. He's a lot nicer to girls though.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good to know. Well, Mr. Cooley boasts a 97 or 95.7% buck off rate. So it's safe to say that it will be pretty good watching this weekend. But can you explain what a bounty bull is and what the incentive is for the bull riders this weekend to ride Mr. Cooley?
Absolutely. A bounty bull is the best bull in the pen. It's a proven bull. And what happens is at a lot of these events, if you get bucked off, these cowboys, trying to make it into the major PBR events, the Velocity Tour is kind of like the Corn Ferry Tour for the PGA. Some of those guys have been in the PBR, and then they didn't get enough points. Now they're back in this, and then if they get enough points, they'll move back into the PBR. So there's some very accomplished riders that have been in the PBR, out of the PBR, trying to get. But you know, it's a tasking sport. So the money, to keep you going, you got to make money. So if you ride the bull, you get an extra $10,000 at the event. And so that's why they call it a bounty bull. It gives the cowboy an opportunity at an event to make a lot more extra money, and it's a PBR, really good. I mean, they're all going to be great bulls, but this is the creme de la creme. And it also shows you, hey man, I can ride. Shows everybody you can ride those. So it's a really cool opportunity for these guys, particularly just to win extra money. I mean, $10,000 to a bull rider in one night, on top of winning an event and winning that money. It'll be a good Saturday night for somebody.
Very cool. Well, a bull like Mr. Cooley is not one that you just jump out in the pasture and snag. It takes a lot of breeding and genetics to get a bull of this caliber. Can you talk about what it takes to produce a bull of this quality?
Well, look, you need. I think there's a misunderstanding from some people that they're not taken care of very well. These bulls live long lives and are taken care of. It's like your family. These bulls that we got out here, they get nothing but the greatest of feed. They get exercise programs, you name it, they got it. They're well. Other than just you just see an average bull out at a farm. These things, man, they're very precious. So you have to, obviously, a lot goes into the feed that you give them, and the quality of feed that you give them, the amount that you give them, the exercise that you give them. um, when you start out, you get the genetics from other bulls that have been out there, and you you take those genetics into a cow that's you got a pretty crazy cow out there that could probably buck, but you don't buck cows. um, and so you genetically, artificially inseminate into these cows, and you're hoping you get a nice little bull calf out of it, and then you just raise them from the time they're little baby calves, and hopefully you hit on a good bucker. It's all genetics. And so it's funny, you'll see some bulls you can't get near. They're just that way. And then you'll see other PBR bulls. They had a story on one. I can't remember the name of the bull, but once that bull got in the pen, it knew what it was supposed to do. That thing will buck. A great bucker. Then once it's over, it goes back in its pen, and the little girl that owned it since it was little can hop right in the pen and hop on its back and take selfies. I mean, it depends on the genetics of the bull, but it's really quite a science that they've boiled it down to on how to do it,
Yeah.
and it's amazing how they do it, but
Well,
really
born
good.
born to buck for sure. Many of us in Nebraska are familiar with rodeo, but the PBR is kind of its own beast. Can you explain or describe a PBR event to someone who's never been before?
Yeah, when you go to a rodeo, obviously, I love rodeo, so I love all the events. But people that have never been to a rodeo or only been a few times, they go to watch bull riding. Bull riding is super exciting, and That's what they go. That's why bull riding is saved to the end. They want people to stay to the end. And if you're just a casual fan, um, uh, that basically it's just the strength of the cowboy. He's got to have a lot of upper body strength. He's got to have a lot of balance. These kids work at this for a long time. Like I said, they start small. They start out on steers, then they move up into small little bulls that kind of buck, but and they're not mean. They're just sale barn bulls that you go get, and you find out if they just come out and buck like a horse, and then you gradually move up the line. So when you go to a PBR event, all of these guys, they've all been on several hundred head of bucking stock, and so they've learned how to get off the bull. Obviously, sometimes you just get off when the bull puts you off, but if they ride for 8 seconds, you'll see they have a certain way to get off. The one of the Those are the two most dangerous parts of bull riding: the shoot procedures, learning your shoot procedure, how to act in the shoot when you're trying to get on the bull, tie onto the bull. Once you get that licked, you got that out of the way, and then how to get off the bull once you've ridden, if you've ridden it. That's the other dangerous part: getting off of the bull. So these guys are very experienced, like I said. So when you go see a PBR bull ride, you're going to see the best of the best, even if it's just a velocity tour. It's like when you go see golf, a Corn Ferry tour, you have guys that are just as good as PGA guys. They just haven't made it in there yet because they haven't got enough points. But that's the same here. You're going to see super professional guys that know what they're doing, and you're going to see some of the best buck and stock in the world. And it's just man against bull to see who can stay on. And it's really good. And I'll tell you, uh, a part that people should really watch and start to get into is the bullfighters. They keep these guys safe. If you didn't have bullfighters, you'd have guys getting hurt a lot because when they fall off, the first reaction of those bulls is spin around and try to get back at whoever was on its back. Those bullfighters, as soon as that guy falls off, he barely hit the ground yet. Three bullfighters step in and protect him, and they are unbelievable. They're the key to bull riding, and that's why you can go to a bull ride and not have a lot of severe injuries is because of those guys. So yeah, it's fun to watch. It's really a talent and a physical feat watching these guys.
Absolutely. So
That's
as we
why you
round
won't. That's why you won't see me riding a bull
out, I
or a
don't
bull.
know. I don't know. How much would it take to get you to ride a bull this weekend?
Absolutely no amount of money will get me on a bucking bull. That's
Oh, heavens to Betsy. Well, as we round out our conversation this morning, you're a native and proud Nebraskan. How excited are you to have an event like this in your own backyard?
Oh, I think that's great. It's always nice. I love the state, so it's always nice to be able to showcase, our awesome state. We have great facilities. The Pinnacle Bank Arena is beautiful, and we got great fans. I want people to come to this and show everybody we're not just fans of Nebraska football, baseball, basketball, volleyball, and all that. We support things that come in, and since we are a western, we're an agricultural state, and we have a lot of good cowboys, a lot of good cowgirls that go to college, and they're good rodeo. We got a lot of great rodeo. The Burwell Rodeo is one of the biggest rodeos around, and we just there was a bucking in Grand Island not long ago. So it's good that they're coming in, and for people to come down and pack that out, and just to showcase what kind of awesome fans of the Western lifestyle that we have here in Nebraska. So it's makes me happy that we can do these events here in the state.
Awesome. Well, you heard it here, folks. Dan, better known as Larry the Cable Guy, will be riding a bull this weekend.
No, hold on. You got that wrong, Rebel. You got that wrong. I will be watching. I will be watching ride a bull.
Oh, goodness. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're excited to watch Mr. Koolie this weekend, and it's sure to be a great show.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and I'll see everybody down there. Let's get her done.